start a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of Phatts TV, sanctioned by PA Phatts and the non-genetically proven Sun. Any and all words have been authorized during the show. There is nothing off limits. Nobody is restricted from watching and participating in the show. It is a free-for-all. Commencing at the siren, any and all discussions will be legal for an extended period of time. Sports, politics, and any and all controversial topics will be talked about. You have been warned. May God be with us all.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Phatts TV on this Tuesday night, September the 22nd. Hopefully the intro worked. I think it did.
It did.
Okay, that's good.
I picked it up a little bit just so I could hear it. It sounded good.
That's good, because it's now transferred onto this computer in the program. So, another beautiful day here in both of our areas. It was a little warmer today than it's been the last couple of days, but it was good. How's the weather up where you are, non-genetically proven son?
Sunny, no clouds.
Yes. Did you get out on the golf course either of the last 2 days?
Nope. I golfed so bad on Sunday, I did not want to golf till tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm golfing with a friend tomorrow.
Okay.
I golfed really bad on Sunday.
You have friends?
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Uh-huh. Don't mention it.
You know, friends? Says you.
Don't mention it. Excuse me while I mess around here with the video link here. Move you up the page a little bit. All right. So, let's start tonight with a little bit of sports before we get into the politics. And because I want to talk about how bad my football picks suck
You like Bob now?
right now. Yeah, I've been running a pool for the better part of almost 20 years.
Okay.
And the vast majority of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, I do really good in the first 2 weeks. Yeah. Not this year, for sure.
No?
So let's recap. Now, in my pool, you got to pick all the games against the spread.
Okay.
I think I had 4 wins last week. I think I went 4-12. Yes. So let's recap the Phatts Fantastic Five, the Triple P. So here was the non-genetically proven Suns picks, and he didn't do. Oh wait, they're week one's picks. How'd that happen? Well, anyway, you went 2-3.
Hey, that's not. We're consistent.
Yes, and I went 0-5. Yes. Yes. 0-5. Let's see here. Do I have the picks written down somewhere? No. Okay. But anyway, yes. You went 2-3. I went 0-5. I remember I had. Well, we both had. No. Did you have Cleveland or did you have the under?
I had the under in that game.
Okay. So I had Cleveland in the under, and if you remember saying I was doing something you're not supposed to do. Because if you like the favorite, you're supposed to take the over. If you like the underdog, you're supposed to take the under when you're going to correlate the games.
Right.
But I took the favorite in the under, and it wound up being the underdog and the over.
Right.
Nice. Nice. I took the under in the Jets game, which we're going to talk about that in a minute. The Jets are my favorite team, by the way. They may not be after last week. I took the under. It was a straight situational play, the under in the Jacksonville, Tennessee game, because typically when teams play in Denver early in the year, the game goes under in their next game. Yeah, the final score of that game was 33-30. So that didn't go under. And well, there was another team that I liked in there that was close to hitting but didn't hit. But anyway, I want to talk about the Jets-San Francisco game.
I know my picks, by the way.
Okay, go ahead.
I had the Browns and the Bengals going under that loss.
Yep.
I had the Cowboys over the Falcons. I think they're like 2.5. 1 by 1.
Yes.
Way to go, 39 to the Falcons. Waited for the Falcons to lose.
You know, not to interrupt you, but that was the first time in NFL history a team scored 39 or more without having a turnover and lost the game.
Well, I saw that. I don't know why people keep that kind of stat. That makes no sense to me.
Well, it's called computers. You know, the Al Gore invented internet thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I had the Rams. They covered.
Yes.
I had the Ravens. They covered.
Yes.
No.
Ravens covered.
And I had the Seahawks. Did they cover?
Yeah, they did. So you had a winning week.
3-2.
They covered on the last play of the game. New England had the ball on the 1 yard line.
Yeah, I was watching and I was literally going to be like, wow, they're just trying to screw over my fat, fantastic five.
All right, so you had a winning week.
They trying to play defense.
So you're 5-5 then for the year. I'm 2-8. Slow start.
Good.
But yeah, I want to talk about the Jets San Francisco game. So I made, for those of you that don't know, I do like to put a couple shekels on a game here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And I put a couple shekels on that game. I put a lot of shekels on that game to go under. In fact, it was the biggest bet that I've made since the Super Bowl where New England came back against Atlanta. When I had many hundreds on that game. And I had New England and figured for, the better part of that game I lost and I ended up winning.
Right.
So I bet it at two different places. One place it was 41.5 and the other place it was 42.5. So I bet it at 41.5 first, and then I saw it at a different spot. It went up to 42.5, so I put some money on it there too. So we're in the fourth quarter, and the game is 24-3.
Okay.
San Francisco's in the lead. The Jets have the ball. There's about 10 minutes to go in the game. They have the ball inside the 10-yard line, and it's 4th and goal. You are down by 3 touchdowns.
Uh-huh.
Do you go for it, or do you kick the field goal?
Go for it.
Exactly. You need 3 scores. There's 10 minutes to go in the game. If you kick the field goal, you still need 3 scores. The chances of you getting the ball 3 times with 10 minutes to go are not very good.
Mm-mm.
They kicked the field goal. If I owned the Jets, I would have got out of the owner's booth. I would have went down to the field and I would have fired the coach immediately. Right then and there on the field. Adam Gase is the worst coach in the NFL. For those of you that remember, since we're in the area of the Eagles, for those of you that remember Rich Kotite, he is just as bad, if not worse, than Rich Kotite. And Rich Kotite, up until now, was the worst coach that the Jets ever had. He led them to a year where they went 1-15. So anyway, so they kicked the field goal to make it 21-6.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, 24-6.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco goes down the field. Something weird happens, and they wind up scoring a touchdown. So now it's 31-6.
Mm-hmm.
So now I lose with a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets get the ball. They wind up punting. San Francisco gets the ball. They wind up punting. There's 3 minutes to go in the game. The Jets have the ball on the 20-yard line. And I said to myself, I am losing this bet. They showed nothing the entire game. They have 2 field goals the entire game. I need a touchdown for me to lose, and you know they're going to drive the field and kick a touchdown at that point. You know they are. First play, they complete like a 25-yard pass up to the 45. The next play, there's a penalty on them for a chop block, a 15-yard penalty. So it pushes them back to the 30-yard line. So it's 1st and 25 on the Jets' 30. They threw a short pass or they ran the ball on first down, one of the two. And they did the same thing on second down. They had 3rd and 14, and San Francisco gets called for pass interference.
Of course.
Gives the Jets an automatic first down. Jets get another first down. They're at the 30-yard line of San Francisco. There's 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. The play happens. The San Francisco, I don't know if it was a lineman or a linebacker, basically grabs the Jets quarterback, Sam Darnold, has him in his grasp. Somehow he gets loose, rolls to his left, just chucks it up there. A Jets guy catches it, runs in for a touchdown. Yeah. This table that you guys can't see that sits right below me, I'm not sure I put any dents in it, but it got hit a few times. Needless to say.
Jesus.
Yes. Yeah. So I had that and I lost. I had Pittsburgh -6. They won by 5. I did at Baltimore. I had the over in the Tampa Bay game. Now that game I got lucky. Tampa Bay recovered an onside kick with 2 minutes to go. And because Carolina had timeouts, they instead of kneeling on the ball to run out the game, they had to run a play. And the guy broke for a 50-yard touchdown run. So I got lucky and won that game. I had Minnesota. Minnesota looked god-awful.
Rumor has it that the Falcons are still watching the onside kick.
It's possible.
You know,
That was,
they could have grabbed it before it went 10 yards, right?
yes, that was sad. That was really sad. And I did have Dallas at -1. Once that game went down below 3, I bet it. And, yeah. So,
I figured Dallas, that's an easy win.
it should have been. So anyway,
At halftime or something, they were down like 24 something.
yes.
I'm saying, huh?
Yes. So the Stanley Cup playoffs are going on. I don't know if anybody's watching it, but it's 1-1.
I saw that we won. I
Yes.
haven't watched a single second of it.
I watched a little bit of the game last night, like part of the third period.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa went up 3-0 after the first and won 3-2.
Wow.
So,
So we kind of gained that last.
yes. So,
The win is all happening.
Friday night, you might want to put your sound on just a little bit so you can hear this. Because you'll get a laugh.
Okay.
In fact, I'm going to put my sound on just a little bit as well. So, Friday night, I'm watching Trump's rally in Minnesota. It started at 6 or 7, whatever time it was.
Uh-huh.
And in the middle of the show, there was breaking news about Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg had passed away.
Uh-huh.
So you and I had talked about it a little bit over the weekend, and it doesn't matter if you agreed with her political philosophies, which obviously you and I don't agree with basically hardly anything. She was still a pioneer for the women's movement. I mean, she did so much for women. For those of you that don't know, when she was in law school, in her graduating class of multiple hundreds, there was only 9 women, because women weren't in law school back then. And not only was she the highest woman in her class, she was the highest overall in her class. I believe there was 400 to 500 in her class.
Okay.
That's pretty impressive.
Uh-huh.
So she's, she did a lot. So, but
Right.
all of a sudden, after the rally and stuff, I went over to Twitter to see what was being said about it, and I ran across.
Holy fucking shit, you guys! I'm driving your car, but I just got a notification that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died! Fuck! Could this year get any fucking worse? Ruth, you just had to make it to 2021! Ah!
Yeah. Can you say triggered? Seriously?
That's more than triggered.
Like, why would that person even put that out to the world?
I don't know.
Seriously. Let's
Holy
let's
fucking
watch it
shit,
again.
you guys!
You know, TikTok was like.
I'm driving your car, but I just got a notification
we'll talk
that
about
Ruth Bader Ginsburg
So-
died!
We put it on again.
Fuck! Could this year get any fucking worse? Ruth, you just had to make it to 2021! Ah!
The worst part is, that could be somebody's teacher.
Yeah.
That's
Wait, what? Distill Thirst.
what?
I'm looking up her name.
Oh.
Her union.
Yes. Yeah, that could be somebody's.
Look up.
That could be somebody's
Well, I
teacher.
like Distill Thirst.
I mean, that's just.
How did you find this? This only has 79 likes.
I found it on somebody's Twitter feed, copied it, and
Oh, wait, never mind. That's a different one.
yeah.
User. There's a lot of Distill Thirst now because of this.
as there
She's
probably should be.
She's probably taking it down now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like her version.
I don't know. She should have kept it up. So anyway, for those of you that didn't hear, supposedly Ruth had a dying wish.
Okay.
By the way, is it too soon if I say the Supreme Court is ruthless? Is it too soon?
Yikes.
I don't know.
Yeah, don't they have a majority like 5-3 now?
Yeah, but Roberts is a swing vote anymore. You never know.
5-2.
So her dying wish was that she doesn't get replaced until after the election. Now, I spent a couple hours rereading the Constitution the other day. I couldn't find anywhere in there where a Supreme Court justice's dying wish is in the Constitution.
No?
Maybe you guys can find it. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it
Trump has
anywhere.
every right to put someone on there before they elect them.
He does. Now, they bring up, it's hypocritical because, in 2016, Merrick Garland, he was nominated and the Senate just sat on it and didn't want to move forward on his nomination, which is true. That did happen. But let's go through the history of the United States. There's been, if I remember correctly, about 19 times where a Supreme Court justice has been nominated in an election year. 10 times about where the president and the Senate were in different parties. Of those 10 times, 9 of them, nothing was ever done with them. Only one time did the Supreme Court justice nomination get taken up. There's been roughly 9 times, if I remember correctly, where the president and the Senate have been in the same party, like it is now, And of those 9 times, only once did the Supreme Court justice get denied on a vote. And that's because he had an ethics violation against him. The one where the parties were different and he made it to the court was in 1880 something. It was Grover Cleveland's pick. So it's,
you know, when people like were straight up against each other.
yes. So, you know, there's precedence to say what's going on. But yes, her dying wish was that her replacement wasn't picked until after the election. So it just so happens last night, I was talking to one of my neighbors outside. It was a beautiful night last night.
Is this true?
What do you think?
No.
So I was talking to my neighbor, and they said, you know, their aunts, best friends, third cousins, dog groomer was at 31 Flavors, so I have to throw in a Ferris Bueller reference. Was at 31 Flavors, for those of you that didn't pick up on that may have seen this post. 31 Flavors, Ferris Bueller. And he overheard the manager saying his ex-wife's lawyer's grandmother on her deathbed said she wants all constitutionalists on the Supreme Court. So if we're going to give Ruth Bader Ginsburg her wish, why can't we give this guy's ex-wife's grandmother her death wish? What's the difference?
Well, it's really cool to have all constitutionalists.
Yeah. You know, a lot of things get said at 31 Flavors. Must be a great place to hang out. 31 Flavors. But let's see here. Let's see what our friends on the Democrat side have to say about this going back to 2016.
The American people deserve a fully staffed court of 9.
The president nominates, and then the Senate advises and consents or not, but they go forward with the process.
What we're seeing here, and I hope this is temporary, is a disrespect for the Constitution.
The Constitution is 100% clear. The President of the United States has the right to nominate someone to be a justice of the Supreme Court. Senate's function is to hold hearings and to vote.
The blockade on filling a naturally occurring vacancy, in my view, is harmful to the independence of the Article III branch.
You cannot keep a seat on the Supreme Court, which represents all of us. You cannot keep it vacant against the Constitution.
Do pretty much everything they can to avoid acknowledging the legitimacy of our democratically elected president.
The American people expect the president's nominee to be given a fair hearing and a timely vote in the Senate.
Every day that goes by without a 9th justice is another day the American people's business is not getting done.
I say to you, do your job. Vote for a Supreme Court nominee.
Instead of just saying the blanket rule is no matter who you are, no matter what your qualifications, because you are sent by this president, we will create a unique rule for you and refuse to entertain you.
One of the most important consequences of who is president of the United States is who sits on the United States Supreme Court.
If you want to stop extremism in your party, you can start by showing the American people that you respect the President of the United States and the Constitution.
The American people deserve a fully staffed court of 9.
So there you go. That's what the Democrats have to say. I guess we should follow what they're saying. I don't know. So, the president came out and he says he's looking to replace Ginsburg with a woman, which is a great idea. I wish he didn't come out and say it. He just should have presented her. The pick is supposed to be announced on Saturday, which will be cool because yours truly and the non-genetically proven son may be at a Trump rally on Saturday. So you know that's going to get brought up a lot. And we'll be chanting, "Fill the seat, fill the seat, 31 flavors, PA Phatts." We'll be chanting something.
Do you want me to bring my something PA Phatts? We need a flag?
You could bring your Frisbee and we'll throw it up on stage.
Frisbee? I think I'll get thrown out.
But, have them show it. Phatts TV. Get that up on Fox and, well, not like CNN covers his speeches. We can get it on C-SPAN and Fox and all the others. So, supposedly there's two front runners. And their names escape me. I should have wrote them down. My bad. But I was trying to do a bunch of other things before the show. The lady who's in the lead, both choices are great. They're both strict constitutionalists. They'll drive liberals bonkers. But I like the one that's like right now they're saying is not favored. Her name is Barbara something, and I'm sorry, I forget her last name. Why do I like her? Her parents came from Cuba. So she knows what it's like to grow up in communism, socialism, Marxism.
Right.
She's young. She's in her late 40s. And the best part, obviously she's Latino. And the best part is when she was approved just a year and a half ago for the bench that she's currently on, she was approved with 85 votes. Or 80 votes. The vote was 80 to 15. So she obviously got plenty of Democrat support.
Right.
So I would love to hear how Democrats can't be for her now.
Yeah, but to say, you know that it's going to be hard for anyone to get through the Senate.
Yes. Now, the other lady, again, great choice. She's Catholic. She had a pretty contentious Senate hearing when she went up against the committee, especially from Dianne Feinstein, who kept talking about her Catholic dogma.
Oh.
This lady, she has 7 children, 2 of which she adopted, and they're of mixed races. The children she adopted are black. I believe both of them are black. Definitely one is. Not that matters.
Yeah.
But she was only confirmed, I think, with 53 votes. 3 Democrat votes. So she still got bipartisan support, but not nearly enough. Now, Republicans are saying that they got enough votes to get through whomever. There was 3 people that you have to worry about. Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. There was, I think his name's Cory Gardner of Colorado, because he's up for election. And you always have Mittens Romney to worry about.
Right.
Now, Collins and Murkowski absolutely said that they will not support any nominee before the election. Collins, you could kind of understand because she's supposedly losing her race up in Maine. I don't think she was going to win the race anyway.
Right.
But I don't think it helps that she wouldn't support the person because she's going to obviously need all Republicans to come out for her, and they won't really come out for her if she's not going to support it. Lisa Murkowski, you and I talked a little bit about her. She was up for re-election one time, and she lost in her primary to a Tea Party candidate. So we're going back, 10, 12 years now.
Okay.
And then she ran as an independent and won.
Yep.
So she lost in the primary and then ran as an independent and won. So she obviously pulled Democratic support in the general election.
Right.
She's definitely not a fan of Trump's. Again, if she's not going to support the nominee, I believe she's up for election again in 2 years. If not 2, it's definitely 4. I think people in Alaska are going to remember it. Mittens Romney came out today and he said he's going to support, he supports voting before the election. Now, again, Lord knows I have no love lost for Mittens Romney, the rhino that he is. He was the only Republican to vote for impeachment on one of the charges. But again, I think he's boxed into a corner. Because if he doesn't vote yes, the people of Utah are going to remember this, and he will have a primary challenger. I could move to Utah and challenge him in the primary and beat him if he doesn't vote yes on this Supreme Court pick.
All that needs to get through to be on the Supreme Court, you just need majority?
Anymore, and we'll talk about that in a second. It used to be different. I mean, if you're running in Utah, you don't have to worry about the general election because Democrats, you know, it's like running in California for senator if you're a Democrat. Your real race is in the primary.
So what's the Senate now?
It's 53-47.
Democrat?
No. Republican. Okay. So he could afford to lose 3 votes. If it's a tie 50-50, Pence would break the tie. So he's fine. Now, there used to be a time where, no, you needed more than 50 votes to confirm a Supreme Court justice. You needed 60, if I remember correctly. Until Harry Reid, who used to be the Democrat leader in the Senate, when the last time that the Democrats held the power in the Senate, he got rid of that rule.
Oh, I kind of like that rule, actually.
So this way he could get Obama's picks through and on the court, because he wasn't going to get 60 votes for those picks.
Imagine if Hillary was president.
That's a scary thought.
What would it be?
Can we like finish talking about this and then we'll move to Hillary?
Okay.
So, yes. So at one time you did need more than a majority. But thanks to Harry Reid, got rid of that rule, you now no longer need to have more than a majority. You just need 50 plus 1. The plus 1 would be if you break the tie with the vice president. For those of you that don't know that, if there's a tie in the Senate, the vice president breaks the tie. If he doesn't vote, then it goes down to defeat 50-50. Because he doesn't have to vote if he doesn't want to. Obviously, Mike Pence will vote to confirm whoever the nomination is.
Right.
So, yes, yeah, this is why elections have consequences. This is what, in my opinion, drove Trump to victory in 2016 when he came out with his list of people that he would nominate for Supreme Court. Because you knew he was going to get to nominate at least 1, and it turned out now he's got to nominate 3. Yes, if Hillary was president, can you imagine how bad you would have gotten Scalia's seat, who was a strict constructionalist? You would have, again, it would have depended if the Senate was still Republican, then she would have had to nominate moderates. If the Senate was Democrat, then she could have nominated progressives. Because obviously, in this day and age, if the Republicans are in control of the Senate and it's a Democratic president, if they try to get a progressive onto the court, it's not going to work. They would have to nominate moderates. And that's who Merrick Garland was. He was a moderate back in 2016 when Obama tried to get him on. So yes, we would have more moderates now on the court instead of 2 more, and hopefully very soon 3 constitutionalists.
Right.
Which we want. So, of course, our friends on the Democratic Party are saying they're going to consider, once again, impeaching the president.
Okay. Is that so they run out of ideas is what you're telling me?
Yes. So they're going to impeach the president for trying to fill a vacant Supreme Court seat, which in Article 2 of the Constitution, he is the only one who has that authority.
Okay.
Let me repeat that. They're going to try potentially to impeach the president for trying to fill a Supreme Court seat, because there's an opening, which by Article 2 of the Constitution, gives him the right, only him, to fill that seat. What part am I missing here?
I don't know.
Seriously. What am I missing? But
Good question.
that's it's completely redonkulous. Redonkulous. So, by the way, for those of you watching, and for those of you that will watch this, because it will be on YouTube, I want to say congratulations to you all, including you, non-genetically proven son. Congratulations to you.
What did I do?
You survived the Grandpa Joe apocalypse.
The Grandpa Joe apocalypse?
Yes. When he was in Philly on Saturday, I believe it was, he gave a speech that said by the time this speech is over, 200 million Americans will have died of COVID.
200 million? What, 2/3 of the country?
That would be 60% of the country, yes. Yes. Now, let me remind you, he reads all of his speeches off of a teleprompter. So the word thousand is probably there, and he still said million. And people are going to vote for him? So yes, so if you're watching this right now, congratulations, you survived the Grandpa Joe apocalypse.
200 million people. Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ah, dear Lord. He was being interviewed by somebody yesterday, and I didn't catch the guy's name or what TV station he was with or whatever. But he was asked the question, and you could see that he stops looking at the reporter and he turns his head to the left to read an answer. So now you know, even in the interview, he's reading the answers off of a teleprompter. And at one point, he gives an answer and he jumbles it up again, and he said, "Oh, I lost the line."
Yeah.
So Grandpa Joe, during interviews, obviously he's getting the questions ahead of time. They have the answers on the teleprompter where all he has to do is read. Now, how in the world is he going to debate the president? Which,
the president's going to allow a teleprompter.
obviously not. Which, by the way, the first debate is supposed to be next Tuesday, 1 week from tonight at 9 o'clock. Phatts TV will not be on at 7 o'clock that night. Oh, no. Phatts TV will come on the air at 8:45 that night. And Lord knows whether the non-genetically proven son joins me or not, Lord knows I will be commentating the debate for the entire, usually they're an hour and a half long, for the entire hour and a half. Get your popcorn ready is all I'm going to say. Have your beer ready, whatever. Have your ice cream, whatever. Eat something. Be merry. Do whatever. To show you how bad Grandpa Joe is, whenever he all of a sudden now goes out and does these events where he speaks in front of about, 6 people that, are in a circle, and 5 of the 6 are reporters. This is now the third straight. He had the Philadelphia event. He was up in Wisconsin, and the one prior to the Philadelphia event, the next day, they put a lid on at 8:30 in the morning. Now, do you know what that means, non-genetically proven son, when they put a lid on something?
No.
That means no news is going to come out for the rest of the day.
Oh.
So here you have the Democratic presidential candidate, and his people are saying to the media at 8:30 in the morning, the lid is on. So every time he goes out and does the events, He can't do anything the next day. He has to rest the entire day. He can't even do anything in his basement talking to people. They've literally, the last 3 times he's done an event, the next day by 8:30 in the morning, they had a lid for the rest of the day.
What, do they come out and just say there's a lid?
Yeah, that's what they do. They announce that there's a lid. The White House does that too every day. You know, when they don't expect anything else to happen, they'll tell the reporters there's a lid. That basically tells the reporters they could go home.
Right.
Because nothing else is going to happen. And if there's breaking news, they get notified and they come back to the White House. But yes,
They live there.
I mean, it seems that way. But yes, you know, because if they didn't say that there was a lid, yeah, then, you know, reporters would be there 24 hours a day. So basically by putting a lid on, it means there's, barring breaking news, no other news coming out that day. So yes, his last 3 events, the day after there was a lid on by 8:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Oh, these debates are going to be fun. Oh, they are going to be fun. I am so looking forward to this.
Didn't Trump destroy Hillary?
Yeah, of course he did. Of course he did. Because the one thing Trump is really good at is just, and you could see it when he does all these, you know, political events. He's really good at just talking off the cuff.
Right.
You know, his worst speeches come when he has to read it off of a teleprompter. Like, when he has to do a State of the Union address, they're not that good. When he gave the acceptance speech at the Republican convention this past July, that was probably the worst speech I've ever seen him give because he has to read it off of a teleprompter. But when he could do his campaign rallies where he could just talk, and if you haven't seen a campaign rally of his, it usually goes on for a minimum 75 minutes that he's up there talking. Usually they're at least 90 minutes, but 75 every now and then. Joe Biden, his campaign events usually last about 20 to 25.
Yeah.
And then he's got to go home and sleep the next day.
But nothing will get done in the country if you got to sleep every other day.
Well, let's remember, it's, you know, the Harris-Biden administration.
Right.
So, Grandpa Joe said, and Kamala said, a Harris administration with Joe Biden as president. She did say that.
So if he wins, he will be stepping down within 2 months.
We're dying. We don't wish death on anybody, but come on. So, you know how I like to ramble on fake polls.
Right.
I'm going to show you again how polls are fake.
Okay.
I believe the company is the Trafalgar Group. I think that's their name. They came out with a poll of Pennsylvania.
Right.
That showed Biden up 5.
Okay.
Now, Trafalgar Group claimed that they were the closest of all the polls in 2016 because they showed Trump winning by 1 on Election Day. Okay, fair enough, they did. But now they show Biden up 5. First off, you never believe polls. And you always want to go into the guts of the poll and read what's going on in the polls. So, I went into the guts of the poll. First off, the poll was 58% women, 42% men, if I remember correctly. The electorate in Pennsylvania is not 58-42. I might believe 51-49 or 51.5, 48.5. That I might believe. But it's not 58-42. Also, they put the areas at which they got their respondents. And they had the Philadelphia area, and they had the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton area, and they had the Middle State, and they had Erie, and they had Pittsburgh, and that's all well and good. But they also had Youngstown. Last I checked, Youngstown's in Ohio. They had Buffalo.
Buffalo.
I don't know about you, but I learned that Buffalo was in New York. They had New York City. Please show me on a map where New York City is in Pennsylvania.
I know.
And last but not least, they had Washington, D.C.
Oh.
Now, for those of you that don't know your history, back a long time ago, there was actually talk of having the nation's capital in Columbia, Pennsylvania, because it was right by the Susquehanna River. But the last I checked, Washington, D.C. is in the middle of Maryland and Virginia, about 3.5 hours away from where I am right now.
Yeah.
About 5 hours or so away from where you're at right now.
Right.
Now, granted, the respondents from those areas were less than 1%, but still. Youngstown, Buffalo, New York City, and Washington, D.C. Yeah, okay. Okay. So, of the other respondents, they said 42% of the respondents were from the Philadelphia area. Now, I don't know what constitutes the Philadelphia area. So I did a little investigating. Yours truly, investigative reporter, P.A. Phatts, Inspector Phatts, did a little investigating of the last 5 elections in the state of Pennsylvania. So what I considered the Philadelphia area is Philadelphia County and the 3 counties that are adjacent to Philadelphia County. Delaware County, is Montgomery County one of them? It's Delaware County and two others. I forget their names, but I know Delaware County is one of them. Chester's right on the other side of Delaware. But anyway, so those 4 counties. Go ahead. Do you know? I could look it up very quickly.
I'm looking right now.
Because I know where I can find it.
Bucks, Montgomery, Delaware.
Okay. So there you go. The 4, Philadelphia, then Bucks, Montgomery, and Delaware.
And Bucks is fairly large, and Montgomery
Yes.
also.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yes. Yeah, Montgomery County is very, very large. So I used those 4 counties as the Philadelphia area.
Right.
In the year 2000, there was 4,913,119 votes cast in the state of Pennsylvania. In those 4 counties, there was 1,405,101 votes cast.
Right.
That is 28.6%.
Right.
Not 42%. In 2004, which would have been Baby Bush's 2nd term,
right,
there was a big jump in the state of Pennsylvania in the number of votes. There was 5,769,590 votes cast around the state. In those 4 counties, there was 1,678,014. 29.08%. Again, nowhere close to 42%. In 2008, when we elected the Messiah, there was 6,015,476 votes cast in the state. Again, larger than 2004. The Philadelphia area was 1,771,600. 29.45%. Not anywhere near 42%.
Yeah.
In 2012, when the Messiah got reelected against Mittens, there was a drop. The Messiah, Obama, he was the Messiah. It dropped. There was 5,755,620 votes. In the Philadelphia area, there was 1,710,475, or 29.72%. If you've noticed, at least the percentage has gone up every time. It went from 28.6 to 29.08 to 29.45 to 29.72.
Right.
Then in 16, when the man got elected, vote totals really went up. It went up to 6,166,729, of which in the Philadelphia area, 1,792,648 for 29.07%. Nowhere near any of them is 42% the last I looked.
Yeah.
So now they're oversampling the greatest area of Democratic voters. So they're oversampling women, and women are more likely to vote Democrat than men. And they're oversampling the areas in Pennsylvania that have more Democratic voters.
Right.
If they're going to do that, you would have expected Biden to be up by 11 or 12, not 5.
Right.
I'm going to tell you right now, Trump is up 3 by those numbers.
Okay.
3. Doesn't mean he's going to win, thanks to the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. We'll go over that again very shortly if you missed the show last Thursday. So yeah, those are your numbers. That's why we don't believe polls. You always want to go into the guts of the poll. And if any polling firm is reliable, they will give you links to the guts of their polls. Now, what did the state of Pennsylvania do? In 2019, the legislature came to an agreement with the Wolf administration about how to proceed doing mail-in ballots and stuff. So the way the law was written, and I actually read the law here on the last show on Thursday, with the exception of overseas military ballots. If you're going to submit a mail-in ballot, it has to reach the county elections office by 8 o'clock p.m. on the day of the election.
Right.
That's what the law says. It's very black and white.
Right.
Now, the mail-in ballots haven't come out yet. So for those of you that may have seen something that looks like it, they weren't the ballots. They were your invitation to get a mail-in ballot. And I've gotten a few of them. You've gotten a few of them here. You told me the people that used to live where you live have gotten a few of them up there.
Right.
Yes. So, the state Supreme Court, which has more Democrats on it, of course, ruled that they are giving 3 extra days. So now, as long as it's postmarked by Election Day, it has until Friday to reach the county election board. Most people will say, well, who cares? It's still postmarked by Election Day. Oh, boy, you people. You people, I love you people. Did you ever look at how mail goes through a meter? Most of them is electronic. It goes through, it gets the stamp, it gets the date, some of them get the time, yada, yada, yada. All well and good. Not the manual ones. I know. I used to work at a place that had a manual one. Every day the person had to set the date on it. You could set whatever date you wanted to on the thing. How do I know? I did it myself. I had to have a bill in the mail by X date. I forgot about it. I brought it into work to get it mailed, and I asked the person, can you switch the date back one day? They did. It got mailed with that date on it. So the manual ones, you could change the date. So, on election night, Trump wins by 115,000 votes. All of a sudden, 120,000 votes come in the next 3 days.
Right.
That actually got mailed the next day, but they're able to change the postmark on them.
Right.
Yes. I just got a news update. Hold that thought. Air Force 2 forced to turn around. Why did Air Force 2 turn around?
Air Force 2?
Yeah, that carries the vice president.
Wow.
So, there's no doubt in my mind the Supreme Court is going to get involved in this election. Now, you might say, well, it's the state of Pennsylvania. What does the Supreme Court have to do with this? Well, it's a federal election.
Right.
If you were just not, choosing a governor, a state representative, then it's a state election. But because you're choosing a president, members of Congress, the United States Congress, or a senator, neither of our two senators are up this term, it becomes a federal election, therefore governed by the U.S. Supreme Court. So they have the right to interpret state laws. I'm assuming that it's going to get appealed, this decision, up to the U.S. Supreme Court, which is another reason why we need to get a ninth justice on the court.
Right.
So don't be surprised. Again, reading the law, it's very black and white. It says, must be received by 8 o'clock on the day of the election. Doesn't say 8 o'clock 3 days after the election. And Pennsylvania isn't the only state that's doing this. All of a sudden, judges in Michigan are allowing this. Judges in Wisconsin are allowing this. There is a state out there, I didn't hear what state, that's now allowing it up to 2 weeks past Election Day. 2 weeks. Can you imagine all the fraud that you could do in 2 weeks? I left the non-genetically proven son speechless. I think you've checked out.
No, I'm checking what state that is.
Ah. Yeah. I believe Michigan is a week. It might even be Wisconsin that's 2 weeks. So, yeah. No doubt in my mind, this is going to the Supreme Court. Which, I'm going to say this on every episode until Election Day, I will be live streaming from about 5 o'clock election afternoon all through the night. If you want to come on the show, by all means, you have an invite to come on the show that night. If you're too afraid to come on camera and speak your mind, the message board will be opening. I want to know what you're seeing out there around the country. Obviously, I will be looking at certain parts in every state. Again, my early focus is going to be on Ohio. Trump carried Ohio by 8.5 points, if I remember that last time. If he's carrying it by more than 8.5, Ohio's always been a good bellwether state. If he's carrying it by double digits, he's going to win. If he only's carrying it by 2 or 3, he's in trouble.
And I get to vote in a county now that where I live is mainly blue.
Yeah. Well, that's because you got, it's because you got 50,000 students on campus.
Does Center County actually go blue, or is it still usually go red?
No, it usually goes blue. Because of the students.
I wonder how many students actually vote now. Out of 50,000, what do you think, 20, 25?
Oh, no, I don't even think it's that many. To be honest.
That just shows how many people live up here. Well, outside of the college, I traveled a little bit around, I guess, the county a little bit. Golf here, disc golf there. There's nothing outside of this school.
You did tell me you've seen two Biden signs.
Biden signs. I've seen like 100 Trump signs. I've seen 2 Biden signs, 3 since the elections stuff started.
So Biden is
in Maryland, 2 in Pennsylvania.
Biden is catching corn.
Yeah, he's still third behind sweet corn,
Biden is catching corn.
Actually, he's 4th behind construction, then sweet corn. And then Biden.
Yes.
Actually, Trump might be losing the construction. construction.
Dave, election maps. Okay, let's see here. Center County in 2016. I got a nice little handy-dandy website that I use here. In 2016, Hillary carried the county by 2.34%. She carried it by 1,800 votes.
Oh, I had 2.4.
Out of, there was only about 75,000 votes cast in the county.
Yeah. Was he in Erie too? Oh, apparently.
In 2012, the Messiah carried it. Ooh, it was close. He only carried it by 0.25%. He carried it by 175 votes. In 2008, the Messiah carried it by 12%. So pretty big mark. So you can see how that really changed in 4 years.
Right.
In 2004, Bush carried it by 2,600 votes. And in the year 2000, Bush carried it by 4,700 votes.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Yeah.
What do you know?
I think it's interesting to look at some of these counties that are like, you know, that are straight red or like all red, all blue.
I'm trying to see what year they actually, this map shows the breakout by county.
Wow, there's 2 counties in North Dakota that actually went blue. Who knew?
Interestingly, in 1960, Center County went for Nixon over Kennedy. It doesn't say the vote totals, it just says how the county went.
Yeah.
60.
Well, that'll be a good area to see what. Wow. Look at Donald Trump getting 20% of the vote in Chicago.
You know, he gets 20% of the vote in Philadelphia County. That's what he got last time.
I have 15.3 in Philadelphia County. That's not very good.
Better than you would have thought.
Hawaii. All red. All blue.
Alright, so anyway, so yes. So, Philadelphia County will be one of the counties that I do watch on election night to see where it's going. Again, if Trump is getting 30%, he carries the state easily. You know, he is supposedly polling really good amongst minorities, much better than he did in 2016. The state of Pennsylvania does have a lot more Republican voters than it did 4 years ago, and there's about roughly the same amount, a little bit less, of Democratic voters. So, Florida will obviously be a state that I keep my watch on, which is another good reason for him to pick that Supreme Court Latino justice, Barbara, she's from Florida.
Right.
I mean, he's going to carry the Latino vote as it is, but he might even carry it even more. All right. Anything else, young man, before we head on out of here?
We got nothing. Wow.
You got nothing.
I'm looking at Wyoming. Does nobody live in Wyoming?
No, not many people.
Oh my god, like, a lot of these counties, you know, 3,500. That was 2,400.
You know what you didn't send me?
What?
Our exit music.
It's just the ending of our intro.
Well, you're going to have to play it, and then you're going to have to cut it and send it to me. So, well, yeah, because all I have is the whole thing that's 1 minute and 10 seconds long.
Oh, boy. This is going to take a minute, man.
Well, that's fine. I could talk for a minute. So,
We'll play it.
don't forget, this Thursday is week 3 of the Phatts Fantastic 5. Let's see if I can get some winners this week. For those of you that are actually watching football, there's some really good football games. Sunday night, Green Bay at New Orleans. Monday night, Kansas City at Baltimore. And whoever the Jets are playing.
Does it matter?
The Jets are on the road. Who are they playing?
A team they're probably going to lose to?
Probably. I do know they're on the road because the Giants are at home this week.
Week 3. The Jets. Play the Colts.
Play the Colts. Oh, yes, that's right. The Colts are a double-digit favorite.
They are the only team that's a double-digit favorite.
Yes. All right, let me know when the music is ready.
It's ready.
All right. You got anything to say before we leave, non-genetically proven son?
I do not.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you Thursday night at 7 o'clock when we look at, this is the first week of conference play for the Big 12 and most of the SEC. Of course, the ACC's already been in conference for a couple weeks, so we might have some picks in some college football games as well. There's not that many good games yet. Oh, you know what we could talk about quick? We could talk about Penn State's football schedule.
We could talk about how Ohio State is a piece of cake.
Yeah, so we'll talk about all that on Thursday. We'll go over the Big Ten schedule. So, that's a not miss episode if you're a Big Ten fan.
Hey. It's about the two teams just like every year anymore.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, until Thursday, have a fantastic couple days. And remember, WWG1.
WGN.
Yay, you remember to say it. See ya.